Hi, everyone. My name is Ben Lakoff. Sorry, I'm not there in person tonight. So I am going to go over my project, but perhaps a little bit helpful would be, I've known Sean for years. I've worked in tech and investments. I run Bankless Ventures, so an early stage venture capital firm. And before that, I was an entrepreneur, and I constantly had the issue of working with external tech teams or even internal tech teams, and the time and the dollars from just building or iterating on products or applications. This was the main driver to get a little bit more familiar with Claude Code specifically, but vibe coding. So Sean had told me about the confabulator, and it's just incredible. You press a magic button and it asks you for all the right things. So it really made this whole process pretty easy and seamless. So I started off the idea. I mean, taking this course was more on the spirit of learning as opposed to like developing the next $1 billion idea. So my first idea was an AI influencer, and actually finished that in the first day, which was pretty easy. The amount of tools and possibilities out there are pretty endless. So having Sean kind of like help you define what you're working on and the problem set, the opportunity that you were looking for was very helpful. But I pivoted to macro digest. So yes, I do a lot of investing, but keeping track of macro and what's happening globally takes a lot of time. So the problem set was like, how can I use AI? What ended up happening was I actually missed the syllabus and finished the whole thing in a week. And I haven't done a lot since for this project. I've rewritten websites, Python scripts, and all sorts of stuff. So Claude Code is like my best friend with a lot of this. But with this specifically, the idea was to simplify looking at macro. So I also just spun up this /tech. So this is like all the tech that it's using Claude Code and figuring out which data sources would be cheaper or more efficient, using open source NLP sentiment analysis, adding those in. It was really fun just to like throw in these additional things like Reddit, Wall Street bets mentioned. So you can pay for it, hook it up to Stripe. When you need to hook it up to Stripe, you need a website for your entity. So I could easily spin up another website. I mean, it's very, very powerful. So what this attempts to do, this is your dashboard of all the different indices or things that I'm kind of monitoring from like a macro perspective. And I've kind of bucketed them off into different segments. So these are all pulling from these data sources here. And then, I've got some fun ones like retail sentiment, scanning Reddit, Wall Street bets, and finding out what is kind of trending on those. So it's very helpful to have all of this in one page for me, a dashboard. And then it attempts to quantify this as like what we think the markets are going to do. Nobody knows, I know, but it's still fun. Then this weekly summary, and what this had started, I set up a Claude project that was doing this. So I just kind of codified it into this application. It's mobile ready. You can subscribe, you can pay for it. You can eventually, if I were to continue building on this, you could customize it for your own macro view of the world and kind of tailor the investment decisions that it's definitely not doing because whatever. A little bit more tailored to you. So this is kind of like the overall update, what's happening, what it looks like, past updates. And then this one is pulling a bunch of different sources. So, like Lynn Alden, some of her latest posts, and it's just RSS feeds to this. And then it's adding this AI analysis to each of them to kind of put everything in one dashboard was kind of the idea. So that is the project. That was the problem set that I was going for. Overall, I mean, massive fan of the process of going through this, and I'm at 5 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, you can check this out. You can log in, you can email me, and have a good night, everybody.